Right then, the Yorkshire Dales. You've heard of it, I presume? It's one of those places that gets bandied about when people talk about proper English countryside. And for once they're not wrong. Not entirely, anyway. It's often called God's own country, which is a bit presumptuous if you ask me. You'd think he'd have a summer place somewhere warmer. But spend a weekend here, just one, and you start to see their point. It's a rather special slice of the world, this. A place where the hills roll with a kind of gentle, ancient rhythm. You can almost hear them sighing contentedly. The appeal, you see, isn't just in the views, though heavens, the views are something else. Imagine hills, great big green ones, stretching out as far as the eye can see. Not jagged, aggressive sorts of hills, mind you. These are more like well-fed, amiable giants lounging about, and nestled between them you find these lush valleys. Valleys so green they practically hum with life. It's the kind of green that makes you feel healthier just looking at it. It's a landscape that invites you in rather than keeping you at bay. It whispers, come on, have a wander. What's the hurry? And then there are the villages. Oh, the villages, tiny hamlets and slightly larger, bustling market towns, all built from this lovely stoic grey stone. It sounds a bit drab, grey stone, doesn't it? But it's not. It's the colour of resilience, of history. It's the Dales through and through. These aren't twee, picture postcard places tarted up for tourists. Well, some are a bit, I suppose, but mostly they feel real, lived in. Places where people still go about their business much as they have for centuries, just with more Land Rovers. So why escape to the Yorkshire Dales for a weekend? Because quite simply it's good for the soul. It's a chance to swap the relentless cacophony of city life for something altogether more soothing. The honking taxis and screeching sirens are replaced by the bleating of sheep, which I grant you can be its own kind of relentless. But it's a natural relentless, a comforting relentless. It's a place to breathe deeply, to stretch your legs, and to remember that there's a whole world out there that doesn't operate on a deadline. It's a proper escape, this, a genuine honest-to-goodness reset button. Now this part of the world isn't just pretty. It's old, really old. You can't walk very far without practically tripping over history. Long before those charming stone villages popped up, there were other folk here. The Celts, for instance. They left their mark, though it's often subtle. Mysterious earthworks, curious standing stones. You get the feeling they knew a thing or two about picking a good spot. They probably looked at these hills and thought, yes, this'll do nicely. And who could blame them? It's the kind of landscape that feels ancient, even if you don't know the first thing about archaeology. Then came the Romans. Of course they did. They got everywhere, didn't they? Like persistent ants at a picnic. They marched their way up here, probably complaining about the weather, and they built their roads straight as an arrow, right across the challenging terrain. Some of those routes you can still trace today. Imagine legionaries clanking along in their sandals, wondering what on earth they were doing in this wild northern outpost. They built forts too, naturally, to keep an eye on the locals, who I imagine weren't overly thrilled about the new neighbours. It's fascinating to think of them, so far from Rome, trying to make sense of it all. You can find remnants of their presence if you know where to look. Bits of wall, outlines of forts. It's not exactly the Colosseum, mind you. You need a bit of imagination, but it's there. A ghostly reminder that this land has seen empires come and go. It adds another layer to the Dales, this sense of deep time. It makes the rolling hills feel even more profound. They've witnessed it all, these silent green giants. From Celtic chieftains to Roman centurions, they've stood watch. It makes your own fleeting worries seem rather small, which is no bad thing. And it's not just the big historical players, it's the sense of continuity. The fields, often bordered by those iconic dry stone walls, some of those field systems are incredibly old, possibly dating back to the Iron Age or medieval times. People have been farming this land, shaping it for millennia. It's a living museum, but not in a stuffy behind-glass sort of way. It's history you can walk through, touch and feel under your boots. It makes you appreciate the sheer tenacity of human endeavour and the enduring power of nature to reclaim and reshape always. After the Romans packed up their sandals and went home, things didn't exactly settle down. Oh no, this is Britain after all. The medieval period in the Dales was a lively affair, full of feuding lords, hardy monks and the ever-present threat of Scottish raiders. This led to a rather enthusiastic period of castle building, because nothing says keep off my land quite like a massive stone fortress with very small windows. You can still see these magnificent, often rather battered, structures dotted around the landscape, silent witnesses to a more turbulent time. Skipton Castle is a prime example. Now that's a proper castle. It stands proudly at the head of the town's main street, looking suitably imposing. It's one of the best preserved medieval castles in England, they say, and it's easy to believe. You can wander through its courtyards and chambers and almost hear the clatter of armour and the murmur of medieval life. It survived the Civil War, which is quite a feat. It tells a story of power, of defence, and of the sheer determination to hold on to what was yours, even if yours was a rather damp and draughty corner of Yorkshire. But it wasn't just the lords building castles. The monasteries were hugely influential in the Dales, places like Bolton Abbey or what's left of it. These were vast agricultural enterprises shaping the landscape and the economy. The ruins are often incredibly picturesque, set against the green hills. Hauntingly beautiful, really. They speak of a different kind of power, a spiritual and economic one. And then Henry VIII came along and, well, you know the rest. Another layer of dramatic history for the Dales to absorb. It's a wonder the hills themselves don't just shrug and say, oh, here we go again. These medieval remnants, the castles, the abbeys, the ancient field patterns, they are an intrinsic part of the Dales' character. They're not just historical sites to be ticked off a list. They are woven into the very fabric of the place. They provide a dramatic backdrop to a gentle walk. They spark the imagination. You can't help but ponder the lives of the people who built them, lived in them, fought for them. It adds a certain gravitas to your Wensleydale cheese sandwich when you're eating it in the shadow of a 1,000-year-old wall. It really does. Let's talk more about these villages, because honestly, they're one of the prime reasons to venture into this part of the world. They are, almost without exception, utterly charming. Built from that distinctive local stone, they seem to grow out of the landscape itself. As if the hills decided to sprout a few houses just for good measure. Villages like Settle, for instance, a lovely old market town with a bustling feel and a famous railway line. The Settle-Carlisle Railway is an adventure in itself, clattering over viaducts and through stunning scenery. Settle feels solid, dependable, a proper Yorkshire town. Then there are the smaller, sleepier hamlets, places like Grassington, which you might recognise if you've watched a certain television programme about a vet. It's undeniably picturesque. Cobbled marketplaces, tiny alleyways, welcoming pubs. It's the kind of place where you expect everyone to know each other's business, and they probably do. But there's a warmth to it, a sense of community that's often missing in bigger, more anonymous places. You can spend a happy afternoon just pottering about, peering in shop windows and stopping for a restorative cup of tea, or something stronger if the mood takes you. What strikes you is the consistency of it all, the stone. It's everywhere. Houses, barns, walls, bridges. It gives the villages a harmonious, timeless quality. These aren't places that have succumbed to every passing architectural fad. They know what they are, and they stick to it. And the dry stone walls, miles and miles of them, snaking over the hills like grey ribbons, built without a speck of mortar, just skill and patience. They are a testament to generations of Dales folk, each stone carefully chosen, carefully placed. It's a kind of land art, really. utterly functional yet strangely beautiful. Exploring these villages is like stepping into a gentler, less hurried world. You'll find cosy bookshops tucked away down side streets, little art galleries showcasing local talent, perhaps a village green where, if you're lucky, you might see a game of cricket in summer, or a sheepdog patiently waiting for its owner outside the butcher's. It's the little details that make these places so special. It's the feeling that life here has a different rhythm, a different set of priorities. And for a weekend visitor, that's a very appealing prospect indeed. A chance to simply be without the usual rush. Section 5, a proper Yorkshire feed, more than just a pretty view. Now, you can't come to Yorkshire, and certainly not the Dales, without talking about the food. Because, let me tell you, these people really know how to eat, and they expect you to join in. This isn't a place for dainty portions or pretentious menus. This is about good, honest, hearty fare. Food that fills you up and warms your cockles, especially if you've been out striding across those windswept hills. You'll have earned it, believe me. The Dales' culinary philosophy seems to be, if it tastes good and there's plenty of it, then it's doing its job. A sensible approach, I think. It all starts with the local produce. This is farming country, after all. So you get wonderful meats, lamb from the hills, beef from the pastures, and the dairy. Oh, the dairy. We'll get to the cheese specifically because that's a whole chapter in itself. But fresh milk, cream, butter, it all tastes that little bit better here. Perhaps it's the clean air or the happy cows, who knows? But there's a richness to it. And then there are the vegetables, grown in fertile Dales soil. Potatoes, carrots, leeks, the building blocks of many a comforting dish. You'll find this commitment to good food in the most unassuming places. Little village cafes serving up enormous scones with jam and cream. Farm shops bursting with local goodies, from homemade chutneys to freshly baked pies. And of course, the pubs. The glorious, welcoming, quintessential Dales pubs. These are often the heart of the community and the heart of the local food scene too. Here you'll find menus chalked up on blackboards promising all sorts of delights. Dishes your grandmother might have made if your grandmother was a particularly good Yorkshire cook. Don't expect Michelin stars at every turn, though they do exist in some rather surprising corners. The real joy is in the authenticity. It's food that reflects the landscape, the seasons and the people. It's unpretentious, generous and deeply satisfying. It's the kind of food that makes you want to loosen your belt, sigh contentedly, and perhaps start planning your next meal. Because in the Dales, enjoying good food isn't just a necessity, it's a way of life. And a very pleasant way of life it is too. It's about nourishment, yes, but also about comfort and community. Section 6, the Holy Trinity of Dales delights, cheese, ale and pub grub. Right, let's delve deeper into the specifics of this Dales grub, because there are certain things you simply must try. First up, cheese. Wensleydale, of course, is king around here, made famous by a certain animated man and his dog, but it was a local legend long before that. It's crumbly, it's creamy, it's got a lovely subtle tang, perfect with a bit of fruitcake, which is a Yorkshire tradition I wholeheartedly endorse. Don't knock it till you've tried it. But Wensleydale isn't the only player. There are numerous other farmhouse cheeses, each with its own character. Seek them out, you won't be disappointed. Next, the ale. Yorkshire folk are serious about their beer. And the Dales are home to a fantastic array of craft breweries, small independent operations producing ales with names as robust and characterful as the landscape itself. Black Sheep, Theakston's, these are names spoken with reverence. You'll find these local brews on tap in every self-respecting pub. Forget your fizzy, mass-produced lagers. This is proper beer, full-bodied, flavourful and best enjoyed by a crackling fire after a long walk. It's the perfect accompaniment to a good Dales yarn. And that brings us to the Pub Grub itself, This is where the Dales truly shines. Think steak and ale pie, the pastry golden, the filling rich and savoury. Cumberland sausage with creamy mash and onion gravy. Fish and chips, the batter crispy, the fish flaky and fresh. Even this far from the sea they manage it. Sunday roasts that could feed a small army, complete with Yorkshire puddings the size of your head. These aren't just meals, they are experiences, served in cosy firelit rooms, often with a friendly dog snoozing under a nearby table. It's comfort food elevated to an art form. The beauty of Dales dining is its lack of fuss. It's about quality ingredients, generous portions, and a warm welcome. Whether you're in a smart gastropub or a tiny village inn, the ethos is much the same. They want you to leave happy and well-fed, and invariably you do. It's the kind of food that makes you feel looked after. It's a culinary hug. So when you're in the Dales, embrace it. Try the local specialities, ask for recommendations, and whatever you do, don't skip dessert. There's always room for a bit of sticky toffee pudding. Always. Section 7. The Sweet Sound of Silence. Finding peace in nature's embrace. One of the most precious commodities the Yorkshire Dales offers is something increasingly rare in our modern world: genuine tranquility. I'm talking about a quiet so profound you can almost hear your own thoughts, which can be alarming at first if you're used to constant urban din, but once you acclimatise, it's wonderfully restorative. The relentless hum of traffic, the wail of sirens, the chatter of a million conversations, it all fades away, replaced by a symphony of natural sounds that soothe the soul rather than jangle the nerves. What do you hear instead? Well, there's the wind for a start, whispering through the tall grasses on the hillsides. Sometimes it's a gentle sigh, sometimes a more insistent roar, but it's always the sound of nature, pure and untamed. Then there's the water. The Dales are crisscrossed by countless becks and rivers. The gentle gurgle of a small stream tumbling over rocks. The more determined rush of a river carving its path through a valley. These sounds are hypnotic, calming. They provide a constant, natural soundtrack to your Dales adventure. And the birdsong, oh, the birdsong. In the morning, it's like a full orchestra tuning up. Curlews with their haunting, bubbling calls echoing across the moors, skylarks ascending, their song a cascade of joyful notes. Even the simple chirping of sparrows in a village hedgerow sounds clearer, more distinct here. It's a reminder of the vibrant wildlife that calls this place home. You might even hear the distant bleating of sheep, which, as I mentioned, is surprisingly comforting. It's the sound of a landscape working, living, breathing. This immersion in natural quietude is a powerful antidote to the stresses of everyday life. It allows you to slow down, to simply be present in the moment. You find yourself noticing the smaller details, the way sunlight filters through leaves, the intricate patterns of lichen on a stone wall, the buzz of a bumblebee exploring a wildflower. It's a chance to disconnect from the digital noise and reconnect with something more fundamental. The peace you find in the Dales isn't just an absence of noise, it's a presence of calm. And that, my friends, is priceless. Section 8. From fiery sunsets to star-dusted skies, the Dales after dark. The beauty of the Yorkshire Dales doesn't dim when the sun begins its descent. Oh no. In fact, some of its most magical moments unfold as daylight fades. The sunsets here can be truly spectacular. With those vast open skies and rolling hills as a canvas, Mother Nature often puts on a breathtaking display. Fiery oranges, soft pinks, deep purples, the colours bleed across the horizon, painting the clouds in ever-changing hues. Finding a good vantage point, perhaps on a quiet hillside, to watch this daily spectacle is an experience in itself, a moment of pure, unadulterated awe. As dusk settles, a hush falls over the valleys, the air grows cooler, carrying the scent of damp earth and wood smoke from distant chimneys. This is a time for quiet reflection, perhaps enjoyed from the garden of a country pub, pint in hand, or simply sitting by a window, watching the last light drain from the sky. The transition from day to night in the Dales feels more profound, more significant than it does in the city, where artificial lights often obscure the natural rhythm. Here, you are keenly aware of the earth turning, of the day drawing to a gentle close, and then the stars. If you're lucky enough to be in the Dales on a clear night, away from the light pollution of towns and cities, you are in for a treat. The night sky can be astonishingly brilliant. Constellations you've only ever seen in books blaze into view. The Milky Way, a shimmering band of countless distant suns, arches overhead. It's humbling, really. To stand under such a vast, star-dusted canopy makes you feel both incredibly small and strangely connected to the universe. It's moments like these that put everything into perspective. This after-dark beauty is another facet of the Dales' tranquility. It's a quiet, contemplative beauty. It encourages you to pause, to look up, to marvel. It's a world away from brightly lit streets and the constant glow of screens. It's a reminder of the natural wonders that are always there, just waiting for us to notice them. So when you visit the Dales, don't just retreat indoors when night falls. Step outside, look up, and let the magic of the Yorkshire night sky work its quiet wonders on your soul. It's an experience you won't soon forget. Section 9. Slowing down the clock. The gentle art of Dales living. If there's one overarching lesson the Yorkshire Dales imparts, it's the importance of slowing down. This isn't a place for rushing. It's a place for meandering, for lingering, for savouring. The very landscape seems to encourage a more leisurely pace. Those winding country lanes, they're not built for speed. Those inviting footpaths over the hills, they beckon you to take your time, to stop and admire the view. Even the sheep seem to operate on a more relaxed schedule, munching placidly without a care in the world. They've got the right idea, those sheep. Embracing this slower pace is key to truly appreciating what the Dales have to offer. Put away the frantic itinerary, allow for spontaneity. Stop at that little village cafe that catches your eye even if it wasn't on your plan. Spend an extra hour by that babbling brook just listening to the water. The Dales rewards those who are willing to shed their city-induced urgency and adopt a more contemplative approach. It's about quality of experience, not quantity of sights ticked off a list. It's a different mindset altogether. This slower rhythm allows you to reconnect, not just with nature, though that's a huge part of it, but also with yourself and with your companions. Without the usual distractions and pressures, conversations flow more easily. You find yourself noticing things you'd normally overlook. The way the light changes on the hills, the scent of wildflowers, the simple pleasure of a shared pot of tea after a refreshing walk. These are the moments that make a Dales getaway so special. The moments that stay with you long after you've returned to the hurly-burly. So, when you plan your escape to this remarkable corner of England, make a conscious decision to downshift. Let the Dales work its gentle magic on you. Breathe in the fresh air, listen to the silence, taste the wholesome food, walk the ancient paths, and allow yourself to simply be. You might find that this slower, more mindful way of living is something you want to take a little piece of home with you. The Yorkshire Dales isn't just a destination. It's an invitation to rediscover a more peaceful, more connected way of being. And that's an invitation well worth accepting.